The probability brief for Wednesday, March 4, check on 2026, the world's most telling prediction
the variance
markets.
of velocity, asymmetric
The probability
information,
brief's
and the
objective
second-order
is to deliver clear,
data-driven
welcome to the
intelligence
probability
on how
brief,
major events
the signal
are being
check on the
priced in
world's
real
most
time.
telling prediction markets.
Each episode examines
Today is
fast-moving
Wednesday,
prediction
March 4th,
markets,
2026.
high-impact whale trades,
The
regulatory
probability
momentum,
brief's
and
objective
shifts
is
in
to
crowd
deliver
psychology.
clear, data-driven
The
intelligence
show
on how
explains
major
what
events
moved,
are being
why it
priced in
changed,
real time,
and what the probabilities reveal about
each
the path
episode
ahead.
examines fast-moving prediction
Making
markets,
complex
high-impact
market
whale
signals
trades,
accessible,
regulatory
actionable,
momentum,
and easy for
shifts in
listeners to
crowd
follow.
psychology. Today is
The show
Thursday, March
explains
5th,
what moved,
2026, with an episode
and what
on
the
the kinetic
probabilities
friction
reveal
and the
about
AI
the path
funding
ahead.
cliff.
Making complex
In today's
market signals
briefing,
accessible,
we are analyzing
actionable,
a market under
and easy
extreme
for
duress
listeners
as we
to
track
follow.
the intersection of kinetic
In
conflict
today's
in the
briefing,
Middle East
we
and a
move
massive
past the
attention
surface
scarcity
headlines
event
to dissect
regarding
the
domestic
mechanics
AI
of market
policy
memory
and the incentive
We
maps
aren't just
for
reporting
currently
the
redrawing the
headlines.
lines in decentralized
We
infrastructure
are looking at
and
how
biotech
liquidity flows
adoption.
are deserting speculative
We
tech
are tracking a
probability
unique
ecosystems
convergence,
to seek
a
safety in
volatility
energy
cluster in
and
the
defense
energy
structural
markets meeting a
hedges.
sudden information
Signal
asymmetry in the
mechanics.
regulatory pipeline.
We begin with the propagation
Signal
of signals
mechanics
during a
the velocity
geopolitical
of rumor
crisis.
versus.
Over the last
friction of
24
fact.
hours, the escalation in the
We
war
begin
on
with
Iran
signal
has
mechanics,
created a significant
where we look at how a
information
signal
asymmetry
propagates
between
through the
official
noise.
government press releases
Overnight,
and the probability
we observed
ecosystems.
a classic narrative contagion
While
in the
official
markets
channels
tracking the
reported a containment of the
2026
naval
European
skirmish
trade
at 3
accord.
a.m. At 1 a.m., a rumor began circulating
the prediction
on encrypted
markets
messaging
for
channels
global
that
oil
a key
supply
delegate had
disruption
walked out of
spiked
negotiations.
from 18% to 54%
Within 40
within 90 minutes.
the probability of a signed
This
agreement
movement was
by
driven
April
by a
1st dropped
$14 million
from
whale block
74%
occurring in the maritime
41%.
insurance markets.
What is fascinating
Large
here is
shipping
not just the
entities
move,
began
but
bidding
the
up
signal
no
transit
velocity.
contracts, signaling that their
A
private
rumor moves at the
intelligence
speed of
regarding
social
the
media,
safety of the
but
Strait of
fact-checking
Hormuz
moves at the
contradicted the
speed of
public
institutional
containment narrative.
bureaucracy.
This
creates
creates
an
an information
retail
gap where
traders follow the
sophisticated
lead of the
traders can
insiders.
exploit the delta between panic
In
and
this
reality.
case,
The whale trade was
in
the
this
signal,
case,
and
the
the
walkout
government
was
press
purely
conference was
procedural,
merely
a
noise.
lunch break that was mischaracterized
Structural
by an
context.
interned social post.
In our structural context,
While the retail
we
crowd
examined
sold their
how
yes
markets
positions
price
in
kinetic
panic,
friction.
the whales remained silent.
We are seeing a volatility cluster
When the
in
whales
defense
don't move
contractor
during a
markets.
30-point swing,
It's
while
often
the
a signal that
probability
the
of
move
ground
is hollow.
deployment remains low
By
at
6 a.m.,
12%,
the market
the
had
probability
fully
of
retraced to
sustained cyber
72%.
infrastructure attacks has surged
This
to
episode
68%.
illustrates why a poll or a tweet
Traders
might
are
move the
utilizing
odds
market
temporarily
memory from the
but only
2024
high conviction
conflicts
liquidity,
to price this
the
event.
actual capital of informed players.
They remember
sets
that while
the
kinetic
long-term
strikes
price.
are the loudest signals,
Market
the second-order
microstories,
effect on
the 2
global
a.m.
data
synthetic
centers and
squeeze
power
in
grids
biotech.
is where the structural damage occurs.
Our market microstory
Consequently,
today takes us
we
to
see
the
a
niche
cross-market
probability
correlation
ecosystem
where a
of
5%
FDA orphan drug
increase in conflict
designations.
probability triggers a
At
3% drop in
2:14
next-gen
we saw a
AI
sudden,
data center
sharp
completion
5%
odds.
reversal
in a market
The
tracking
market
a
is
specific
correctly
respiratory
pricing that
treatment.
the AI future cannot be
On the
built if the
surface,
energy
5%
and silicon
is minor.
supply chains are prioritized
However,
for
the
war present.
microstructure reveals a
Crowd
synthetic
psychology
squeeze.
deep dive. A hedge fund had been
Today's
accumulating
deep
no
dive
contracts
focuses on
as
the
a hedge
panic
against
dip
a
currently
pharmaceutical
hitting the
stock
domestic
position.
tech sector.
As
When
the
a
war on
small,
Iran
independent
dominates the
research
attention
blog
cycle,
published a
we are
positive
seeing a
peer-reviewed
classic
study,
attention
the yes
scarcity
side
event
saw a
in the
sudden
AI
influx of
policy
liquidity.
markets. This
For
weeks,
weeks, the hedge
AI
fund to buy to
infrastructure
close their no
fund was a
position
golden
to prevent
thread
a
that
margin
kept
call on the
speculative
prediction
probabilities
platform.
high.
However,
This
as the
microcorrection serves
geopolitical
as a
crisis
teachable
escalated,
moment.
the
In
crowd
niche
moved into
markets with
herding
low
behavior
liquidity,
toward
the
liquid
price
safety.
isn't always a reflection of truth.
The confirmation
Sometimes it's just
cascade
the
that
sound of a
previously
large
boosted
player
AI
being
funding
forced to
odds
the
has
exit.
reversed.
Traders
Structural
are no
context.
longer looking for reasons why the fund
Pricing
will
the
pass.
adoption curve
They
of
are now
fusion.
obsessively searching for
In
reasons
structural
why the war
context,
budget
we
will
look at how
cannibalize
market
tech
subsidies
subsidies.
the impossible.
This shift from
Last
overconfidence
month, we
to panic
discussed
is
the
a classic
liquidity drift
behavioral
in renewable
finance trap
energy.
where the objective data
Today,
on the fund
we
hasn't
focus on the
changed,
sudden
but the
repricing
crowd's
of fusion
capacity to
adoption
care about
curves.
it has been exhausted by the
Following a
kinetic
technical
conflict.
breakthrough in magnetic
Market
confinement announced
microstories.
yesterday, the fusion power on
We look
grid by
now at a sudden
2035
reversal in the
market
distributed
shifted from a
energy
3%
resources
long
industry
shot to a 12%
at 2
serious
a.m.
contender.
Universal Time Coordinated.
Traders
As
aren't
news of
just
the naval
pricing
blockade
attack.
intensified, the market for
They are pricing
residential
the
battery
regulatory
storage
deduction
adoption
saw a massive
when a
liquidity
tech breakthrough
spike.
occurs. The market
Previously,
first prices the
these
discovery,
systems were seen
then
as
the
a green
scaling,
luxury,
and finally
but
the
as the war
opposition.
raises the probability
We
of
are
domestic
currently in the
energy
scaling
rationing,
phase.
the incentive map
The
shifted
probability
instantly.
of federal subsidies being
Battery
redirected
storage
from
moved from a
traditional
3%
nuclear to
niche
fusion
shift to to a strategic necessity.
45%.
Sophisticated traders began
front-running
the
utility
expected surge
stocks
in
as the
demand
market
for
struggles
off-grid
to decide if
solutions.
fusion is a threat to
This
current
microstory
infrastructure
teaches
or a
us that
savior for
incentive
future
design
demand.
is often rewritten by crisis.
The structural
When the grid is at
context
risk,
here is that
the
the market
individual
is beginning
incentive
to
for
price
energy
fusion not as a
independence
science
overrides
project,
the economic
but as a
friction of the high
geopolitical
entry
asset.
cost. Regulatory trajectory analysis. The committee dynamics
We are
of DeFi.
currently analyzing the stakeholder
In our
incentives
regulatory
within the House
trajectory
Appropriations
analysis
Committee.
We move away from the if and
By
look at the
interpreting
how.
agency signals.
We are currently tracking the Senate Banking
Specifically, the
Committee's
quiet
internal
withdrawal of
dynamics
three key
regarding the
sponsors of the
stablecoin
AI
reserve act
infrastructure
of
bill.
2026.
We can see that the legislative
By
trajectory
interpreting
has hit a
agency
wall.
signals, these committee members are
Specifically,
pivoting
the
to an
recent
emergency
public
defense
comments from
supplemental
three swing
bill.
vote senators.
We can
Comparing
see a
this to the
shift in the
historical
incentive
analog
map
of the 2003
These
budget
legislators
reallocations.
are moving toward
We
a
see that when a
compromise that
kinetic
favors
event
established
occurs,
banking
future-facing
incumbents over
tech
pure-play
bills
tech
are almost
startups.
always sacrificed for
If we
immediate
compare this
response
to the
military
historical
funding.
analog of the 2011
The
Durbin
incentive for a
Amendment,
politician
we see
to
a
vote
pattern.
for a
The
long-term
pre-draft
AI fund
sentiment
vanishes
is always
when they
more
need to show
aggressive than the
immediate
final
resolve
rule.
regarding a naval blockade.
Market participants
The incentive
are currently
map.
front-running a harsh
In a
regulation
conflict
that may
environment,
never arrive
we
in
must
its
ask
current
who is
form.
signaling and who is silent.
The true signal is in the
The
lobbying
traditional
spend,
defense
when the
lobby
major
is
fintech
signaling
players
maximum
stop
threat
publicly
levels
fighting
to ensure
and
the
start
emergency
quietly
supplemental bill
coordinating.
passes.
It's a sign that the regulatory
Meanwhile,
floor has
the
been
big tech
set.
firms, who were the primary
Psychology
beneficiaries
deep
of the
dive.
proposed
The
AI
confirmation
infrastructure
cascade in
fund,
Mars
are following the
Logistics.
silence rule.
Crowd psychology is often
Big
the
tech
most
is silent
distorted
on the
lens
war
in the
budget to
probability
avoid public
ecosystem.
backlash while they are quietly coordinating
Today's deep
behind the
dive is on
scenes to pivot the
confirmation
AI
cascades
fund into
within the
defense-related
commercial Mars
AI
cargo
initiatives.
markets.
The loser in
Currently,
this
the
market
yes
shift
contracts
is the
for a
consumer AI
2026
sector,
launch
which
are
loses
trading
its
at an
subsidy anchor,
82%
while the winner
probability
is the
despite
defense
two
industrial
recent
intelligence
failures.
complex.
Market
This is a
memory.
classic case of narrative anchoring.
Market memory is currently
The
playing
crowd
a
is so
critical
invested
role
in how the war on
success
Iran is
narrative
being
of the
priced.
primary launch provider that they treat
The
every
probability
failure as a learning
ecosystems are
opportunity
reacting to
rather than a
echoes of the
data point for a
1970s
delay.
energy crises.
This attention scarcity,
While the actual supply disruption is
where the
currently
crowd
only
only has the
4%,
bandwidth for
the
one
memory
hero
of
narrative
systemic collapse
suppresses
has
the
traders
very
pricing
real
a
risk of emission
25%
scrub.
disaster premium.
When a market becomes
Even
a
though
fan
global
club,
energy
the price
resilience
loses its
is
predictive
significantly
power
higher
and becomes
in
a measure of
2026.
sentiment.
The psychological
This is where
anchor
the highest
past oil
alpha
shocks
exists
prevents
for the
the market
objective
from
observer.
correcting to current data.
Market memory,
What
the echo
traders
of the
missed this
2024
week
energy crisis.
While the world was
Prediction
focused on
markets
the
have
naval
long memory.
skirmish, a quiet regulatory
In
filing
our
from
market
the
memory
Bureau of
segment,
Reclamation
we look
regarding
at how the
inland
energy markets
desalination
are
brine
reacting to
standards
current
slip supply
through.
constraints by looking
This
back
is an
at the winter
undervalued
spike
signal.
of 2024.
This filing changes
During
the
that
cost
cycle,
basis for water
markets
tech startups in the
overcompensated for a late
Southwest
season
by nearly
cold snap,
30%,
pricing in a 90%
It's an
chance
early
of a
sign of
blackout
narrative
that never
decay
occurred.
for the current batch of desalination
Today,
companies
we see a
that the
persistent
probability
narrative
markets
where the market
haven't
is
reacted
pricing
to
a
yet because the
15%
attention
risk
cycle
premium
is on any
elsewhere.
energy contract simply because of that
Episode
past
summary
trauma.
and closing.
In
Traders
layman's
are
terms,
anchored to the
today's
memory of the
signals show a
2024
world where the
failure,
fog of war
leading
has
to a
completely
mispriced
obscured the
hedge.
future of tech.
The current infrastructure
We saw
is
how well
40%
trades and
more
shipping
resilient
insurance
than
when
it was 2 years ago.
call out the reality
Yet the
of the naval
probability of a
blockade,
systemic
and how
failure
market memory
remains
is
at
forcing us to pay a fear
2024
tax
levels.
based on 50-year-old ghosts.
Market memory is creating a
We
safety
learned that
buffer
the AI
that
funding
actually
narrative
represents
has
a
collapsed
profit
because the
opportunity
crowd
for those who
simply
trust
doesn't
in
have
the
the
attention
over
span
old
for a
ghosts.
budget bill while missiles are in the
Cross-market
air.
correlation, the
The
semiconductor
incentive
agriculture
map
link.
has shifted from innovation to survival.
One of our most
and the plumbing of the
sophisticated
market,
signals
the
is the
liquidity
cross-market
flows,
correlation.
is now running toward batteries
We have
and
observed
defense.
a developing link between
Thank you for
advanced AI
listening to
chip
the
lead
probability
times
brief
and precision agriculture
If you
adoption
found this
in the
valuable,
Midwest.
please like, subscribe,
When market
follow,
A, chip
and
lead
share with
times
someone who
stretches
watches the
beyond
odds like
6
you do.
months. Market B,
The
automated
sources for
harvester
today's
rollout
episode are
sees a
Polymarket,
4%
Bureau
drop
of
in
Labor
Q3
implementation,
Twitter
probability,
trends,
and Senate hearing
This is
transcripts.
a second-order effect.
This podcast
The automated
is for
trackers
informational
require the
purposes
same
only
high-end
and does
logic
not
chips as
constitute
AI
financial,
servers.
investment, or betting
Because
advice.
the server market has higher
All market
margins,
probabilities
the
are
agriculture
subject
sector
to
gets
change.
deprioritized in the supply
Episodes
chain.
may be generated using
If
fully
you are
original,
watching the grain
fictional
markets,
but realistic
you should actually
market
be
movements.
watching the semiconductor foundries
Some
in
scenarios,
Taiwan.
market movements,
This is
or
a high-value
examples
signal
discussed in this
because it
episode
bridges
may
two
be
seemingly
illustrative or
unrelated
simulated
domains
for
through the lens
explanatory
of shared
purposes.
hardware incentives.
The incentive map, the silent exit of carbon credits.